There is currently a hell of a lot of players being linked with Nottingham Forest for transfers coming in, and we haven't even reached the transfer window yet. What's triggering all of this is, of course, Taiwo's injury. But let's take you through all the players that are linked now with Forest, and a couple of them are attackers. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night, and welcome back to the transfer rumors and links and confirmed and all that good stuff that comes as we approach the January transfer window. This is your Nottingham Forest transfer news. Coming up, we're going to talk to you about two strikers that have been heavily linked now with Nottingham Forest, two that have been previously linked with Nottingham Forest, and a deal done on a Brazilian player. If you've been missing the transfer videos, let me know by hitting that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And let's jump into this, and let's start with the Bundesliga sensation that is Guirassy. All right, so let's kick this off with Guirassy. It's a player we told you about probably about a month or two ago that Forest are heavily interested in. And he is still red hot. As I mentioned in the intro, second top goal scorer in the Bundesliga, only two behind Harry Kane with 16 goals this season in 10 games. That's a disgusting return. He's 27 years old at Stuttgart, just a quick reminder to all of you guys. And he's probably worth in and around 30 to 40 million pounds. However, what makes him so appealing is that he has a release fee clause of 15 million pounds, about 17 million euros. And that is why Forest is so interested in him. However, there is competition on getting the player across the door. Likes of Ajax are interested. You're going to love this one. Everton are interested. Where are they getting their money from? And there's a couple of other clubs. But it's not like heavy contest in terms of getting your Arsenals and Man Cities in there. So it could be an option for Forest, but it could be a problem with AFCON as well. And especially with Taiwo being injured. But is it worth this risk and, missing out for him for 6 weeks even after we've signed him? Probably, because of the price of the striker, because of the returns on goals that he can provide. And we do see Bundesliga strikers coming across to the Premier League and tend to do okay. I mean, Taiwo's a great example of that. And with Taiwo's injury concerns and the likelihood that he needs an operation, striker is now becoming a high priority for Nottingham Forest. And this one, for me, could get done, but it's going to be fierce competition because of that release fee clause. As I reckon it will be more than your Everton, West Hams, etc. that are interested in him once the transfer market opens. And Forest will have their work cut out to get this one over the line. What do you guys think? Would you still take him or not? But he is heavily linked currently with Nottingham Forest. Okay, so he is not the only striker that's currently linked to Nottingham Forest. We've got a wonderkid from Brazil who is linked with Nottingham Forest, who has been linked with Nottingham Forest before, is Leonardo. Leonardo from Santos, 20 years old. He's scored 21 goals in 45 appearances. And he has a big whack fee on him, about 25 million euros, which is what, 22.5 million pounds. Now, all of that, in essence, isn't a problem for Forest. And with the influx we've had of Brazilians coming in, it could be quite easy to get this one over the line. We've also sent scout outs to see him. We've got a fantastic recruitment network out in South America. And everything could line up for this transfer to come through. However, the big problem with this one is there are some big clubs, or in quotes, big clubs, who are interested in him. You got the likes of Arsenal, you got the likes of Man U, and I think Newcastle are sniffing around as well. And the reports coming out of Arsenal and Man U as they are lining a move up for him in the January transfer window. Again, both of them have issues with strikers currently. I mean, Man U have scored a combined amount of goals that equates to less than Wood. So you can see why they would want a striker. But this guy could be one of those Murillo type of signings that comes through. A Danilo. Forest are really, really good at scouting South America currently and have pretty much had a hit with every player they've come through. And what I've seen and what I know of Leonardo, I really rate him. And I think he could make the transition from into the Premier League as well. So I don't see that being a major issue. But I am not as convinced that this deal can go ahead, because if Arsenal and Manchester United really play hardball with this, what you could end up with is a bit of a bidding war. And that 22 million price tag suddenly turns into 30, maybe even 40 million pounds. Now, any club where Manchester United in specific are interested in, they will always use that as the lever to double sometimes the price. We've seen it so many times, the stupid fees Manchester United pay for. However, the big difference in this transfer window is everyone knows Man U are in the mud, and Man U can't afford big fees currently, let alone big wages. So we may not see that one happen. This one is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks. Of course, we will keep you posted here on all the developments. But the real question is, if you had to choose between Guirassy and between Leonardo, which one of the two would you pick? Would you be looking to extend that Brazilian invasion coming into Nottingham Rainforest as it's being tagged? Or would you look for the more experienced 27-year-old who's proven himself in the Bundesliga with 16 goals in 10 games? Now, a lot of those goals came in the early side of the season and he has dried up slightly. But which way would you go? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so let's move on to our third story, and this is fee agreed on the Brazilian, yes, of course it has to be Brazilian centre-back, Nino. Now, he's just won the Libertadores Cup. He is coming to Forest for about 7 million euros, which is what, 6.1, 5.8 million pounds. So really cheap. Captain of his current club, and he didn't want to leave there until the Libertadores had finished. But there is still some dots that need to be dotted and I's that need to be dotted, T's that need to be crossed on this one, as there still is a lot of discussion about potential sell-on clauses, sorry. Can't get the words out right now. The talks is that there may be a 20% sell-on clause attached to this contract, and it looks like the two sides are negotiating this. The real question is, do we need another centre-back in the current environment where we have about 600 of them? And when you break it down and you think about it logically, then maybe the answer is yes. We'll cover off players that are currently exiting in the next video. However, a little prelude to that, you are definitely going to be seeing McKenna leaving. He's linked to a club. You've got Bolly coming to the end of his contract. You got Felipe, as we've mentioned on a previous video, linked to be leaving as well. And then who knows what's going to happen with Joe Worrell. That's already potentially an exodus of 3 to 4 centre-backs. And you can understand why Forest would look to bolster, especially from South America, where everything just seems to be a hit right now. And what I like about Nino is he is a leader, and leadership is something currently I feel we're lacking a little bit of in the team. And I see this one going through with no real major issues. There's no real other massive competition on Nino's signing. And with the fees agreed, usually the rest just slowly falls into place. So expect confirmation and full reveal of this one, well, once transfer windows, etc. are open. But what do you think of Nino? Do you guys think we need another centre back or not? And is Nino one that would, float your boat? I know a lot of you watched the final in the Libertadores match the other week, and he did look solid. But if you take a blanket of all his performances so far, he does look like someone who can fit in. He is very Murillo-like in terms of the way he plays football, just a little bit older and on the right-hand side. So could we see that all-Brazilian partnership at centre-back? Who knows, but it's looking like it's on the cards. Get your thoughts in on Nino down below. Okay, so those are the current big three names that are linked with Forest. So just to recap, Nino is deal done basically on the fee. You've got Leonardo with heavy competition, and it could be quite tough to get him through. And of course, Guirassy, the goal scoring machine, with that £17 million release fee clause built into his contract. Which one of these do you want to see at the City Ground? Let me know in the comments down below. Coming up on the next video, we'll be talking to you about players going out. We'll be giving you an injury update. But if you need some more content right now, why not go and have a look at our behind the scenes at the City Ground, where we will show you what it looks like in the gantry. We will show you the players and where they come out from. And we will give you some interviews as Nottingham Forest women unfortunately lost 1-0 to Newcastle at the City Ground. Go give that a quick check out right now. And before you do, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And we'll see you on that next video. Come on, you Reds.